What if I told you that old spoons, shattered glass, and broken plates could become something breathtaking? In this video, I'll show you how forgotten pieces can turn into stunning garden borders and backyard fences. Welcome to Simply DIY, where we transform the ordinary into the extraordinary. All images you'll see here are pure inspiration. If you love the ideas, feel free to recreate them with what you already have at home. Creativity isn't about buying new things, it's about seeing beauty in what's around you. Maybe to you, I'm just another face on a screen. But every like, every comment, every subscribe, they truly keep this dream alive. You're not just supporting content, you're giving hope. Thank you for being here, and thank you for seeing me. Sometimes beauty comes from the most unexpected places. Imagine walking into a small garden, where instead of expensive stones or wooden borders, you find a row of old silver spoons standing tall in the soil. Their handles catch the sunlight, shimmering softly, while the flowers behind them bloom in vibrant colors. This is not just a garden border. It is a story of transformation. What was once forgotten at the back of a drawer, bent and scratched by time, now becomes a gentle frame for nature's beauty. Each spoon planted side by side tells us that nothing is truly wasted, not even a piece of cutlery that once served our meals. Creating this edging is as simple as pressing each spoon halfway into the earth, guiding them close enough to form a rhythm, like notes in a quiet melody. Over time, the rain will polish them, and the sun will give them a new glow. The border will stand as a reminder that the simplest ideas often carry the greatest charm. And when you sit in your backyard, watching the sunlight dance on the spoon handles while your flowers sway in the breeze, you will feel it, that calm joy of knowing your hands have shaped something unique, practical, and deeply personal. There is something magical about walking on a path that tells a story. Imagine a narrow trail in your backyard, where every step you take shines with the light of 1,000 colors. Broken glass, once forgotten and unwanted, now lives again as a mosaic beneath your feet. Blue, green, and amber fragments catch the morning sun, scattering it like tiny jewels across the garden. To create this path, you don't need perfection. The beauty lies in irregular shapes and unexpected reflections. A little cement or strong soil base, a gentle press of the glass pieces, and slowly, the walkway begins to form. It becomes not just a path to walk on, but an art piece to admire, especially when surrounded by fresh flowers and greenery. Over time, the rain will wash the glass, keeping its shine alive. And every season, the light will play differently across the surface. Golden in autumn, soft in spring, and sharp in the height of summer. It is a simple reminder that what was once considered trash can become a timeless treasure under your own hands. When you pause on that path, you might feel it, a sense of peace, knowing that creativity can transform even the most fragile things into something strong, lasting, and beautiful. In every home, there are plates that no longer serve their purpose. Cracked edges, faded designs, or patterns that feel forgotten. But when these pieces find their way onto a garden fence, they awaken to a second life. Imagine a small backyard where wooden panels are no longer plain, but dressed with ceramic plates in colors and patterns that dance with sunlight. Each plate becomes a story on its own, together forming a patchwork of memories and beauty. The process is surprisingly simple. Plates can be fixed directly onto the fence or broken into fragments to create mosaic shapes. Strong adhesive or a few nails are all it takes to turn an ordinary wooden surface into a canvas. The joy lies in mixing and matching, Floral designs beside plain colors, shiny surfaces next to rough edges. The imperfections create harmony, a reminder that beauty does not need to be flawless. As flowers bloom at the base of the fence, their colors echo in the ceramic panels above, making the entire garden feel alive with artistry. Over time, the fence tells its own quiet story, one of patience, creativity, and the gentle act of giving old things new meaning. And as you sit on your patio, you might notice how the plates reflect the morning light, turning an ordinary backyard into a gallery beneath the open sky. There is a certain poetry in sound, the soft ringing of spoons, the gentle shimmer of glass, swaying together in the afternoon breeze. A wind chime made from simple, forgotten objects can transform the quiet of a backyard into something soothing, almost musical. Imagine sitting beneath a tree or resting on your patio, as old spoons and shards of colored glass dance with the wind, creating a melody that feels both rustic and serene. The beauty of this DIY lies not only in its charm, but also in its simplicity. A branch, a wooden beam, or even an old hanger can become the base. With a bit of wire or sturdy string, the spoons and glass pieces are tied at different lengths, so that each movement brings a soft chime, a sparkle of light, and a sense of peace. The glass fragments catch the sun, casting tiny rainbows on nearby plants, while the spoons bring a metallic note that feels grounding and familiar. What makes it truly special is how personal it becomes. Every sound is unique, every reflection tied to your choice of glass and cutlery. Over time, the chime will weather, carrying the marks of wind and rain, but its voice will only grow richer, like a song written by nature itself. And each time the breeze stirs, you will be reminded that beauty can come from the simplest of things, when we allow our imagination to guide our hands. In the quiet of a backyard, a flower bed becomes more than just a patch of soil when it is framed with color and story. Picture ceramic plates, once ordinary at the dining table, now standing side by side, forming a gentle border around blossoms that sway in the breeze. Some plates carry delicate floral designs, others shine in simple pastels, together creating a living frame for roses, daisies, or even wildflowers. The process is wonderfully simple. Each plate is pressed halfway into the soil, upright and steady, tracing the curve of the flower bed. Broken edges are not flaws but accents, adding texture and variety. Over time, the plates blend with the soil and greenery, giving the garden a character that feels both artistic and deeply personal. What makes this idea special is how adaptable it is. A tiny garden corner, a row along a patio, or even a modest vegetable patch can all be transformed with the same method. And every time the sunlight touches the glossy ceramic, the flowers seem brighter, the garden more alive. It's proof that beauty often hides in the things we once overlooked, waiting for us to place them in the right light. In every garden, there's a quiet need for order, a way to remember which seed lies beneath the soil, which sprout belongs to basil, and which green leaf belongs to thyme. Old spoons, once used to stir soups and serve meals, can take on this role with grace, becoming markers that guide you through your own patch of earth. Imagine walking along a small herb bed, each spoon pressed firmly into the ground, its polished face painted or engraved with a name. Mint, rosemary, lavender, the words stand like whispers among the leaves. The charm of this idea is its simplicity. A spoon can be written on with waterproof ink, painted in bright colors, or even etched with small tools. They stand upright, weathering the sun and rain, their silver catching the light as the plants around them grow taller. Over time, the spoons age with character, but their purpose remains, a faithful companion in every season. This small act of creativity turns gardening into a more intimate experience. It brings personality to the soil, making even the tiniest backyard patch feel like a curated collection. And as you harvest your herbs or flowers, you'll smile knowing that these spoons, once forgotten in drawers, now stand proudly, keeping watch over the garden you've grown with your own hands. There is a quiet wonder in watching sunlight break into colors. Imagine standing in a small backyard, where simple strands of broken glass hang gently from a tree branch. As the breeze stirs, each fragment catches the light and scatters it across the garden, tiny specks of red, green, and blue dancing on the soil and leaves. What was once sharp and discarded has now become a source of beauty, painting the garden with colors no brush could create. Creating a sun catcher is simple yet deeply rewarding. Glass shards, smoothed at the edges for safety, can be tied with thin wire or fishing line, then hung from wood, branches, or even the beams of a patio. With every shift of the day, the sun's angle changes, and the reflections tell a new story, one of movement and light. It is not just decoration, it becomes an experience, something to pause and watch in the stillness of the afternoon. Over time, these sun catchers will blend with the rhythm of the garden, their colors bright on clear days, softer under clouds, and glowing warmly at sunset. They remind us that transformation is possible, that even broken pieces can shine again, when given a place where the light can find them. A table is often the heart of a garden corner, a place to rest a cup of tea, to sit with friends, or simply to pause in silence. Now imagine that table transformed, its surface no longer plain but alive with patterns made from broken ceramic plates. Each shard carries history: the blue rim of a once-loved dish, the floral design of a plate that served countless meals. Together, they form a mosaic, a new story written across wood or stone. This is an idea that blends creativity with function. The process begins with fragments collected over time, arranged like puzzle pieces across the tabletop. A touch of adhesive, a layer of grout, and slowly the design takes shape. The result is a surface that shines under the morning sun, reflecting bits of color while remaining strong enough to hold your garden essentials. What makes it beautiful is not just the pattern, but the intimacy of it. Each plate carries a memory, and when you sit down to enjoy your patio, those memories become part of the space. With flowers blooming nearby and the sound of leaves rustling in the breeze, the table becomes more than furniture. It becomes a piece of art that welcomes you, inviting you to linger a little longer, to savor the stillness and the joy of something made by your own hands. Is often seen only as a boundary, a line that separates one space from another. But with a touch of creativity, even the simplest wooden panels can become a canvas. Imagine a row of old silver spoons, once hidden away in drawers, now standing proudly as ornaments on a garden fence. Their smooth handles glisten as sunlight touches them, and their gentle curves bring texture to what was once plain and ordinary. The idea is simple to try. Spoons can be fixed vertically, forming neat lines, or arranged in playful waves across the wood. Over time, they will age gracefully, reflecting the changing light of each season. Some may choose to polish them for a bright shine, while others may leave them weathered for a rustic charm. Either way, the effect is striking, a fence that does not only enclose a garden but celebrates it. Placed beside blooming flowers or trailing vines, the spoons create a rhythm between metal and nature. They remind us that beauty is often found in the smallest of details, in objects once forgotten but now given new purpose. And as you step into your backyard, the fence no longer whispers of boundaries, but of creativity, a gentle reminder that art can live in the most unexpected places. Along the edges of a small garden, even the most ordinary materials can come alive. Picture rows of glass bottles, turned upside down and pressed into the soil, their green and brown shades forming a natural rhythm. Between them, fragments of broken glass sparkle like tiny jewels, catching the sun as it moves across the sky. What once was trash has become a shimmering border, guiding your steps and framing the flowers with unexpected elegance. This DIY is as practical as it is beautiful. The bottles give structure, standing firm against the soil, while the smaller shards fill the gaps with light and color. It takes little more than patience and a careful hand, arranging each piece until the line feels balanced. Over time, the rain will wash the glass clean, and the sunlight will give it a glow that changes with the seasons. Soft in the morning, warm at noon, and golden at dusk. There is also a sense of storytelling here. Each bottle once carried a drink, each shard once belonged to something whole. Together, they find a second life, a new purpose in the garden. And as you look down at the border you've created, you'll realize it is more than decoration. It is a reminder that beauty often comes when we bring old things together, letting them shine again in the quiet of our own backyard. There's a special kind of joy in hearing the flutter of wings near your garden, a sign that life beyond your plants feels welcome too. A bird bath is more than a vessel of water, it's an invitation. And when its edges are dressed in fragments of broken ceramic plates, it becomes both functional and deeply artistic. Imagine sunlight striking the mosaic border, the blues, whites, and floral patterns sparkling as a small bird bends down to drink. The making of it is beautifully simple. A shallow bowl or stone base can be the foundation. The broken plate pieces, once forgotten in cupboards, are carefully arranged along the rim, fixed with adhesive or grout to withstand time and weather. Each shard tells a story of the meals it once served, now finding a second life as decoration in the open air. Beyond its beauty, this little creation gives something back to nature. On warm days, the water provides refreshment. On quiet mornings, the gentle ripples mirror the sky. The colors of the ceramic reflect in the water, creating a scene that feels like a painting come to life. And as birds return again and again, you realize the bath has become more than a project. It has turned into a bridge between the things we no longer use and the world that never stops giving. As daylight fades and the first stars begin to appear, a patio transforms with a glow of candlelight. Picture old spoons, once resting quietly in a kitchen drawer, now bent and shaped into delicate holders for small candles. Their silver bowls cradle the flames, while the handles reflect a gentle shimmer that dances against wood and stone. It is a scene that feels both rustic and tender, where the ordinary becomes magical. The beauty of this idea lies in its simplicity. A sturdy surface, a few recycled spoons, and the warmth of tea lights are all it takes. The spoons can be mounted on wooden planks, attached to walls, or placed on shelves. When the candles are lit, their light spills softly across the patio, creating an atmosphere that invites conversation, quiet reflection, or even a moment of stillness alone. What makes it especially meaningful is the intimacy it brings. The flicker of each flame carries a quiet rhythm, while the spoons, polished or weathered, give the light character. Together, they remind us that beauty is often born from what we already have. And as you sit surrounded by the glow, you realize how simple objects, guided by imagination, can fill a space with warmth that lingers long after the candles burn low. A flower pot is often just a vessel, a quiet container holding soil and roots. But with a little imagination, it can become a piece of art that glitters with life. Imagine a simple clay pot covered in fragments of broken glass, blue, green, amber, each shard catching the sunlight, creating a mosaic that sparkles as brightly as the flowers it holds. It is as if the pot itself blooms alongside the petals. The process is gentle and rewarding. Old pots, whether clay or ceramic, are given a second chance when layered with shards of glass fixed in place with strong adhesive. Once the pieces are set, a touch of grout smooths the spaces, leaving a surface that shines like stained glass beneath the open sky. Each pot tells a story of transformation, from the broken to the beautiful. Beyond their beauty, these pots bring texture and color to small gardens and patios. Lined along a walkway or clustered in a sunny corner, they create rhythm and light, turning even humble marigolds or daisies into something extraordinary. Over time, rain will wash the surfaces, the sun will deepen their glow, and your garden will hold a touch of brilliance that feels timeless. It is proof that what we see as fragile can, in the right hands, become lasting beauty. A garden wall can feel like a blank canvas, waiting for a touch of imagination. Picture a simple wooden fence or a plain brick wall, now dressed with ceramic plates of every shape and pattern. Some are whole, their floral prints glowing under the sunlight, while others are fragments arranged into mosaics that ripple across the surface like painted waves. Together, they turn a quiet wall into an open-air gallery, a celebration of color and memory. This idea is as practical as it is beautiful. Plates can be secured with sturdy hooks, adhesive, or carefully placed nails, allowing each design to shine without heavy effort. Whether you choose vintage plates with delicate details or modern patterns with bold colors, the wall becomes a reflection of your personality. Over time, climbing plants and hanging flowers can weave between the plates, softening the edges and blending nature with art. What makes this transformation special is how it changes the mood of the entire backyard. Suddenly, a space once overlooked becomes a centerpiece, a backdrop for gatherings, or simply a place to pause with a cup of tea. Every glance reveals new details. Every ray of sunlight brings a different glow. It is proof that even the smallest changes, guided by creativity, can breathe new life into the spaces we call home. A garden fence often stands quietly, doing nothing more than marking a boundary. But imagine if that fence became a work of art, a tapestry made not with paint or fabric, but with pieces of everyday life. Spoons arranged in neat lines shimmer as they catch the sunlight. Between them, fragments of colored glass sparkle like jewels, while shards of ceramic plates add patterns that speak of tradition and memory. Together, they create a fence that is both strong and soulful. The making of it is surprisingly simple. Wooden panels or posts serve as the base. With patience, each material finds its place. Spoons can be fixed vertically, glass shards pressed into cement or adhesive, ceramic pieces fitted into designs that bloom like flowers or ripple like waves. The mix of textures, smooth metal, glossy glass, rustic ceramic, turns the fence into a story told through light and surface. What is most rewarding is how the fence changes the atmosphere of the garden. No longer a plain divider, it becomes a focal point. Children might trace the mosaics with their eyes, visitors might pause to admire the sparkle at dusk, and you yourself will find comfort in knowing you built beauty from fragments. It is proof that creativity does not need new materials, only a willingness to see old things in a different light.